topic I'm going to address right now is whether deception can be a right deception or just a wrong one. Usually we take deception as a bad thing, since deception means to conceal the truth to someone else and to make this someone else to have false ideas, false beliefs to act upon. But as a matter of fact, there is even other kinds of deception we have been dealing with in the history of humanity. Just think of the paintings in the ancient Lascaux wall paints and so on, where we have human disguised as wolf or as animals for hunting purpose. And so on, coming to our days, to actual times, just think of the neural interfaces used on the amputees. So there's the new field, the prosthetics, the new generation prosthesis that works in this way. You don't just have a working hand on your amputee limb that can grip things and can make you working normally, but this gives you just the neural feedback to your brains, so that your brains knows exactly where your hand is and if he is touching something or not. Of course, in order to have this feedback, these feelings, somehow technology has to hack your nervous system, because you are not really having your own hand at hand, sorry for the joke, but you have to somehow to see what it is not. That hand becomes yours. This is a sort of perceptual deception we have in place. There are more. There are the growing field of sham surgery, to take an example. The surgery that do not do the surgery for real. The surgeon just makes you the incisions, it leaves you the scars, but does not go any deeper. And then when you recover, you see your scars, you think you have had your intervention, your surgery, and you start to recover because of the placebo effect the scars triggers on you. This is another kind of deception, of course, but it's a deception that is acceptable in a way. So what does make this deceiving acceptable? My thesis is that the deceiving is acceptable because it is not a real deceiving. We are not misled to believe something that is completely false. Consider the previous example. When we are going to think that that hand is our hand, even if it is not really our hand, the reality of the fact is that we should have a hand in place right there. We have not, because of an accident, because of whatever it happened, but the fictionality, the idea that we can have that hand, is not a total false ideas. This is the fictitious nature of this deception that is acceptable. Our physiology brings us to think that we should have their hand, and technology helps us to consider that hand as ours. This improves our life. And of course, this is an acceptable thing. It is not deceptive in the bad way. It is not deceptive in the way that we are going to believe something that is just false. This is not just false. That hand can be ours as long as our body, in a way, integrates the information neural interfaces gives us. And this is the meaning according to which deception, it is an acceptable thing. It is a deception by design. It is not a deception by other means, by other ends, by other one's agendas. This is my thesis about the deception.